Step 2. We came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. We have a disease, progressive, incurable and terminal. The most amazing single fact about the disease is that we went out and bought it on the time plan. That is insane. Think about that, you, me, everyone we meet in NA. The junkie snatching purses on the street, and the sweet ladies hitting 2 or 3 doctors for their perfectly legal prescriptions. All of us have this one thing in common: we buy the disease that kills us. And, one way or another, we usually pay for it, a bag at a time, a few pills at a time, or a bottle at a time until we die. That is at least part of the insanity of addiction. The price may seem higher for the girl who prostitutes herself for her fix than it is for the woman who merely lies to her doctor, but ultimately, both pay with their lives. Ask yourself this question: do I believe it would be insane to walk up to someone and say, "Would you please sell me my own death on the time plan? Or may I please have a heart attack or a fatal accident?" If you can agree that this would be an insane thing comparable to giving yourself an injection of deadly poison only slower, you should have no trouble with the second step. The second step is the most important thing that must happen for us to achieve any sort of ongoing recovery. The first step leaves us where we need to come to believe in something that can help us with our powerlessness and sense of helplessness. Belief became the most important thing for us to work on. We have some type of belief, and unless we examine it and seek to improve it, it may be insufficient to give us recovery. Certainly our belief didn't help us with our active addiction. We now have a workable idea of a higher power. You may be one of us who says, "I need help with my drug problem and I can see that NA has that all right, but the second step says this power greater than ourselves will restore us to sanity and I'm not crazy. I just can't handle drugs." Many of us started out with that attitude. Our first instinct is to say no way. But when we approach it with an open mind, and talk and listen to others, we begin to see evidence of some power that cannot be fully explained. Confronted with this, most of us will at least admit to the possibility of a greater power. Eventually, we will come to some kind of personal understanding we can use. Belief is the beginning. It is helpful to stop at this point to review our thinking in this respect. We should not take the chance that our understanding of a power greater than ourselves is sufficient. The power can be the group itself or it can follow a religious tradition. The only thing we want to emphasize is that you should feel comfortable with your higher power and be able to make the statement that your power cares about you. If you can accept the fact that a large number of addicts like yourself have found a way, in the program of Narcotics Anonymous, to live clean, then you only have to believe what you see in order to experience step 2. NA has many members. This collective spiritual power is certainly greater than that of any individual member. What is impossible for one alone is often light work for many, because the many are a greater power than the one alone. You don't have to be religious to accept the idea of a power greater than yourself. Just look around with an open mind and you will see a positive power all around NA. You can call it love, or harmony, or peace, or cleanness, or good, or you can call it God. It doesn't matter, and by looking and listening as openly as you can, you find that NA has the power to help addicts. The higher power we use in NA is a lot like this: we begin by simply admitting to the possibility of a power greater than ourselves. From the very beginning, we discover that power in our lives and that power lives in the fellowship. We had no trouble admitting that addiction had become a destructive power greater than ourselves. It logically follows that there can also be a constructive power greater than ourselves. When drugs are washed from our bodies through daily abstinence and our minds begin to clear from the effects, a miracle takes place. Many fortunate things occur mysteriously, but there are no accidents. We come to understand that our recoveries are a gift from a power greater than ourselves. There is a spirit that is guiding all living things. Call it higher power or whatever you like. If you choose, call it nothing at all, but find it, and learn to benefit from its power. You will gain a new life free from drugs and the pain they have caused. We have begun to see only recently how much a higher power has to offer. Clean living is only the beginning of a new life. Life without fear is a gift we receive for the price of acceptance. We gradually begin to find some order in the universe, and accept that some power was supplying us with a conscience we had never had before, and was somehow giving us the power to overcome the compulsion to use. It certainly wasn't us, individually. Many of us have come to believe that the forces of life know what our real needs are and will take care of us when undisturbed by self-will. We learn to keep a watchful eye on our daily halt's maintenance. We eat when hungry, we talk with a recovering addict when angry or lonely, we rest when tired, and when we begin to take ourselves seriously, we get to an NA meeting and share. Sanity is having our priorities in order. We don't use drugs, we go to meetings, and through the NA program we learn to rely on God to provide what we need on a daily basis. We have been restored to sanity as far as the obsession to use is concerned. The important thing to remember as the urge to use occurs is that just because the mind is asking for drugs, doesn't mean the body is. We are so into denial and over controlling our emotions that the occasional thought of drugs may be the only way our mind knows to get our attention. The mind signals drugs when the body may actually be asking for vitamins, food, rest or companionship. So we need daily halt's maintenance. Most addicts have strong feelings about their higher power and vigorously defend their right to their own understanding of a higher power. The strength to move into action comes from our higher power. Asking for help in specific terms usually precedes getting that help. By opening the gates of our hearts, we become ready to receive the help we need. We need to accept this step to start our road to recovery. When our belief has grown to some point of comfort, we are ready for step 3.